In every Super Sentai battle, there are always moments when standard power just isn't enough because the enemy becomes overwhelming, and every normal attack seems useless. Therefore, the warriors are forced to rely on a superior source of firepower, and that is exactly when the heavy weapons are unveiled. These are cannons with terrible destructive power, strong enough to shake the entire battlefield, often requiring the warriors to support each other to mitigate the recoil. These are also the trump cards that help turn the tide of battle with a single blast. So in today's video, let's take a look at some of the heavy weapons that have appeared in the history of Super Sentai. Let's get started.
Number 1. Dual Crusher. Appeared in the 2006 series Boukenger. This heavy gun was built by the SGS organization to support the adventure team in combat, but because its power was too great, more than 10 times stronger than the warrior's Servibuster gun, it created massive recoil for the user, blowing their body backward. So to solve this problem, the user needs to equip an extra layer of protective armor by activating the Axial ToQger device, which is created from a combination of technology and the Salamander Precious. Through this, the Axial ToQger helps them minimize the recoil from the gun, maintaining balance when using it. The Dual Crusher is compatible with 2 machines, Go-Go Mixer and Drill. Therefore, it also integrates 2 attack modes. The first mode is the Mixer Head, which uses 3 barrels to fire a beam that immobilizes the target with super concrete. Then, when switching to the second mode, the Drill Head, the gun reveals a drill tip, and at this point, the members need to support the user to execute a finishing shot. Piercing through any object with a single strike, this shot has sent countless monsters in the series to the afterlife.
Number 2. Super Sentai Bazooka. Appeared in the crossover movie Gokaiger vs Goseiger, released in 2011. In the final battle with the Black Cross King, he used a special cannon to summon clones of past warriors to weaken the strength of the Gokaigers and Goseigers. When their power reached its limit, that was when the Black Cross King began to enter the fray. This situation pushed them to the brink of exhaustion. However, in that situation, the light from the Ranger keys suddenly flashed, taking them to a separate dimension where the warriors met their predecessors. They not only boosted the fighting spirit of both teams, but also repaid the bravery of their successors by providing the warriors with a special power manifested in the form of a cannon called the Super Sentai Bazooka. And at this moment, when both teams joined forces to use that weapon, it was able to fire an incredibly powerful energy source formed from the combined power of 35 teams. However, after destroying the Black Cross King, the Super Sentai Bazooka also vanished from reality.
Number 3. Zenryoku Zenkai Cannon.
Appeared in the 2021 series Zenkaiger. Originally, the Zenryoku Zenkai cannon was created by IG Rude for the warrior Hakkaiser to use, but it was later confiscated by the Zenkaigers. This is a very convenient weapon, as its barrel can be folded. Besides being used in attacking like a normal gun, the Zenryoku Zenkai cannon has very overpowered mechanisms. By activating a dial on the weapon, the user can choose the power they want to use. For example, on the Shuriken icon, the gun summons Sentai with ninja and samurai motifs to support the user in battle. Or, with the Beaker icon, the gun summons Sentai with science motifs, and with the planet icon, it summons Sentai with galaxy motifs. However, this function is actually not limited by those motif symbols. If desired, the user can completely summon a mixed team. Whenever the gear on the weapon is rotated multiple times, the user can execute a super finishing shot. At that time, an aura modeling the helmets of 45 Sentai merges to form a giant Zenkaiger helmet, destroying the enemy in an explosive manner. The power of this shot is terrifying. If fired by a single person, its recoil is strong enough to blow them backward. So later, Kaito needed support from his friends to reduce its horrific recoil. Additionally, the Zenryoku Zenkai cannon has another unique feature, transforming into aircraft mode.
Number 4. Jet Cannon. Appeared in the 1987 series Maskman. This weapon was developed and built by a science team combined with the aura energy supply from the Maskman to replace the previous cannon, the Shot Bomber, which was destroyed by Knight Kyros in episode 27. The jet cannon is structured like a jet aircraft, and a warrior can ride it to use as a means of transport.
After Red Mask's command is issued, the jet cannon's form transforms into a cannon for 5 people to use. After aiming at the enemy's position, the members channel aura energy into the weapon and release a super destructive beam. As powerful as it is, the jet cannon cannot be used if even one of the 5 Maskmen is missing.
Number 5. Biomotion Buster. Appeared in the 1988 series Liveman. Unlike most other weapons on the list, the Biomotion Buster was introduced right from the start. To call forth this cannon, Red Falcon gives the command, and the eyes on the members' helmets flash simultaneously, creating a holographic image of the Biomotion Buster before materializing it for use. The process also begins with aiming at the target and finally firing a super powerful energy beam to destroy the ferocious brain beasts. As seen in the beginning, when only 3 members called upon this cannon, they carried it on their shoulders to use it. But later on, when 2 additional members were added, the 5 of them changed the way they held it, and the beam, when fired, also became different.
Number 6. Giga Booster. Appeared in the 1996 series Carranger. To prepare for the fierce battles with the Bozak gang ahead, Dapu and the Carrangers built this weapon. Its original form looks like a race car with an aggressive black and red color scheme. Naturally, the Giga Booster can move on its own. Its upper body can even detach from the chassis to fly and attack like a fighter jet. Once summoned, the Giga Booster shifts to turret mode to execute a team-finishing move. When fired, the weapon shoots an energy ball from the turbine drive to destroy the lives of the Bozak bikers. The firepower from this Giga Booster shot is much stronger than the Formula Nova. Additionally, the Giga Booster is often mounted on the roof of the Dragon Cruiser, acting as a mobile cannon barrel.
Number 7. Ole Bazooka. Appeared in the 1995 series Ohranger. This is a very high-output cannon. Its design is based on the arm of the robot Red Puncher. Chief of Staff Miura coordinated with the science team of UAOH to create this ultimate cannon for the Super Sentai team. Whenever O-Red issues the summon order, the Ole Bazooka quickly transports in, and the loading tray on the cannon body is pulled out. At this time, the 5 members need to supply it with superpower storage crystals. These are super strong energy containers, boasting 50 times the power of a standard storage crystal. After the magazine is fully loaded, it is pushed into the body of the weapon, and the warrior pulls the lever to fire. Its shot carries immense firepower, causing the Baranoia beasts to be obliterated immediately. 16 years later in the successor series Gokaiger, the Ole Bazooka appeared again when the Gokaigers recreated the power of this cannon to destroy all 6 clone warriors. Additionally, the Ole Bazooka was the primary inspiration that helped the Gokaigers create their Gokai Galleon Buster. Number 8. Fire Bazooka. Appeared in the 1991 series Jetman. In a situation where most members of Jetman were trapped inside photographs by the camera monster, director Odagiri gave Ryu an important mission: to build a weapon with enough power to deal with the monster. And that was when the Jet Striker vehicle was born. In battle, it usually plays the role of an all-terrain vehicle and then transforms to become a cannon called the Fire Bazooka. Thanks to this weapon, Red Hawk successfully rescued his teammates and also put an end to the camera monster's rampage. From then on, once called upon by the Jetman, the Jet Striker would quickly rush in to assist the warriors in performing the finishing move. They would lock the target in the scope and then supply birdonic energy into the weapon. Finally, they fire a plasma bullet shaped like a firebird to wipe out the cruel beasts. Reality showed that the Jet Striker could be used by a single member, but the power would be significantly reduced and the plasma bullet would not have the firebird shape. The recoil upon firing is enormous, which once caused Red Hawk to be blown away. In the final arc, the Fire Bazooka could automatically aim and fire, but because it couldn't be supplied with energy from the members, the cannon's firepower was repelled by Radiguet, and he even destroyed this weapon. Number 9. Earth Cannon. Appeared in the 1990 series Fiveman. The original form of this cannon is a robot named Arthur G6, created by Dr. Hoshikawa, the biological father whom the Fiveman team thought had died. Long ago, his purpose in creating Arthur G6 was for him to become a versatile assistant. With an IQ of 300, Arthur can do almost any job. But after the Zone Empire's invasion of the planet Sadon, the Doctor chose to stay behind to stall the enemy and asked Arthur to take his 5 children to escape to Earth and raise them for the next 20 years until he accompanied them on their journey against the Zone forces. For this reason, all the 5 men love Arthur like a family member.
However, initially, Arthur only played the role of a supporter for the group. He did not demonstrate any particularly special abilities. It was only a while later, when Arthur encountered an incident during the battle with the monster Unagen, which caused the robot to be heavily damaged. Through this, thanks to the reconstruction and repair by the boy Taro, Arthur was able to recover his physical condition and unlock his always hidden potential, transforming into Earth Cannon mode. At this point, Arthur acts as a super large cannon requiring the whole team to combine forces to use. When activating the switches and aiming at the target, the Earth Cannon fires a violent shot strong enough to crush warriors from the galaxy. This shot even weakened a supergiant machine. From then on, once summoned by the Fivemen, Arthur would immediately fly from the base to the battlefield and quickly transform to fight alongside them.
Number 10. Daikaiten Cannon. Great Rotating Cannon. Appeared in the 2014 series ToQger. This cannon is shaped like a railway turntable. It was created from Raito's imagination. Summoning the Daikaiten cannon depends on the Hyper-Tokyu form. Therefore, this is a cannon that any member can use. To trigger a shot, one or more small version Russias must be inserted into the chamber, resembling branching railway tracks on the weapon, to supply energy to it. Then, the warrior pulls the grip to execute the process of absorbing the power of the auxiliary Russias into the main Russia, placed in the center, and finally fires with full power. This shot is so powerful that it can destroy two monsters at once while they are in giant form. However, even in its first use, when only inserting the Hyper Russia into the weapon, the firepower it emitted still carried incredibly destructive force.
Number 11. Shot Bomber. Appeared in the 1987 series Maskman. This was the team's first finishing cannon. When used, Red Mask wears an energy tank on his back while the other four support the gun barrel. After locating the target through the scope, the shot bomber gathers all energy and releases a massive aura beam to wipe out the Dogler beasts. In some situations, its firepower can be increased by the Maskmen to overwhelm those trying to gang up on them. However, since the battle with the Knight Kyros, the shot bomber became completely useless. Due to being countered by his abilities and having to operate at full capacity, the gun barrel cracked. This incident led to the shot bomber being completely destroyed, and Knight Kyros took its remains back to his territory as proof of his victory over the Maskmen.
Number 12. V-Turbo Bazooka. Appeared in the 1989 series Turboranger. This weapon was developed and created by Dr. Dazai. He is the mentor of the high-speed team. Its power source is the turbo truck's V-Turbo engine. Once summoned, the V-Turbo Bazooka in the laboratory immediately appears on the battlefield. At this point, the V-Turbo engine activates, sucking energy from the atmosphere through a fan and burning it to create an abundant source of power. After locking onto the target's position with the scope, they release a terrible energy strong enough to crush a ferocious monster. Before the V-Turbo Bazooka was completed, the Turborangers used a prototype version of it, known as the Z-Bazooka. Although the manufacturing process was still unfinished at that time, the warriors still tried to use it. As a result, after that battle, the outer shell of the Z-Bazooka was destroyed immediately and the internal reactor went out of control, turning it into a ticking time bomb. If the warriors hadn't destroyed it in time, the resulting explosion would have endangered them.
Number 13. Geki Bazooka. Appeared in the 2007 series Gekiranger. This cannon was manufactured by the SCRTC company, and its design was inspired by Master Shafu. The Geki Bazooka is used to deal with enemies with high defense. However, when it first debuted, this cannon had a potential weakness. It took 2 minutes to accumulate enough energy to fire a shot. During that time, someone was needed to stall the opponent. Once the energy was fully charged, Jan would pull the handle at the back to deploy the gun barrel and finally push it to execute the shot. At that moment, a projectile of Geki energy would be fired to break through all defenses and destroy the enemy. Later, as the story progressed and the warriors' power increased, they were able to increase the speed of energy transmission, taking only a few seconds to fire. In the final battle with Long, Jan even fully loaded and used it single-handedly. In reality, the Geki Bazooka operates based on the user's power, so the spirit and focus of the Gekirangers are directly proportional to the firepower it shoots out. If they lack the motivation to fight, this cannon cannot fire.
Number 14.
Super Kiryoku Bazooka, Super Ki Power Bazooka, appeared in the 1993 series Dairanger. This is a large cannon with a dragon design. It was given by Master Guhan to the Dairangers to assist them in their fight against the Gorma tribe. However, initially, this cannon was incomplete because it needed to be supplied with 7 Heavenly Treasure Lele jewels, one of which had not yet been gathered. Despite the unstable condition of the weapon, the Dairangers were determined to summon it to face the monster Kabuki Kuzo. Before using it, they plug 5 star cutters around the body of the weapon to act as handles, insert a star sword on top of the body, and then feed the jewels into the round slot to replenish its power. Once completed, the cannon fires an energy projectile capable of obliterating the monster in an instant. Because it was an incomplete weapon, its recoil at that time was still very large. It wasn't until sometime later, when the Rangers gathered enough materials, that this cannon achieved stability, and the range of the shot became much more powerful.
Number 15. Gokai Galleon Buster. Appeared in the 2011 series Gokaiger. This double-barreled cannon is shaped like the Gokai Galleon ship and was created by Don with the purpose of fighting strong enemies. Initially, he could only create a rough frame and 5 Ranger key slots. It wasn't until the weapon was infused with the great power of the Ohranger team that the Gokai Galleon Buster was officially completed. When used in its default state, this cannon can attack without keys. Its basic firepower is 5 times stronger than the Gokai gun. As seen in the final battle with Emperor Acto's skill, the bow of the ship on this weapon can also be used for close-quarters combat. When the user pulls the lever to switch to finishing mode, the sail immediately rises, acting as a targeting sight. They then insert 5 Ranger keys into the slots to power the weapon. When the trigger is pulled, a Gokai Galleon-shaped energy projectile is fired to pierce through the enemy's body and explode. Uniquely, the energy fired from the Gokai Galleon Buster corresponds to the color of the dominant Ranger key inserted. In some cases, if one of the core members is absent, Gokai Silver can take their place to coordinate and use this cannon. Furthermore, users can still provide keys that do not belong to Super Sentai, and the Gokai Galleon Buster will still create a shot corresponding to that power.
Number 16. D-Bazooka, Dekabazooka, appeared in the 2004 series Dekaranger. In reality, the original form of this cannon is a robot dog codenamed Murphy K9. It operates based on artificial intelligence technology and serves at the Earth branch of the SPD organization. In daily life, Murphy is very loyal to his friends, especially Umeko. However, since he is designed in the shape of a dog, his habits and behaviors bear similarities to one. Equipped with olfactory sensors, Murphy has highly advanced sensing and tracking abilities, helping to track and uncover hidden clues. Because of this talent, Murphy became a powerful ally of the organization. Whenever the warriors throw the keybone into the air, Murphy reacts immediately and transforms into the D-Bazooka. At this point, he becomes the ultimate weapon for the Deka team, and they join forces to execute a super powerful finishing shot. Additionally, Murphy can not only transform into the D-Bazooka, but can also detach parts of his body to form the Battleizer mode armor for Deka Red.
So I have finished summarizing some of the heavy weapons. So in your opinion, which is the most impressive heavy weapon? Leave a comment in the section below to let us know. And if you find this video interesting and useful, don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss my next videos. And now, goodbye and see you again.